Hey guys, good evening, good morning, good afternoon. This is Dominic Cicali, Mafia Roundtable. We're doing a answering question from our first video that was February 14th. Also, I'd like to give thanks to our sponsorship, EG Vodka. Please go to egvodka.com. Check out the vodka, order it, you'll like it. Also, we have Champagne de Rock, which is under the EG label. We have the exclusivity in the US for Champagne de Rock, and that's also under our label, EG Vodka. Trust me, you will not be disappointed. Today, like I said, we're doing something a little bit different. So, Jason, if you'd like, you could start taking over, ask the questions.
Sure.
And we'll proceed with that.
Well, first off, Dom, 250,000 views, pretty incredible. You're knocking it out of the park. You can tell by the comments and the feedback, people are loving the show. So congratulations on that. Great job.
Well, thank you. I couldn't do it without everybody, the team, everybody, included yourself as well. So thank you. It's greatly appreciated.
Yeah, some really good growth, and I think the great part is all the comments. You see, all the interaction. People really want to hear more. Such a great sign. So real kudos to you.
So let's give them more.
Let's give them more. Yeah, so we've got a bunch of comments that were made. You really do a good job at answering all those comments. A couple that we might pull out and talk about, maybe give a couple shout outs, but just sort of dig deeper into the first episode and, some of the things that were said and some of the things that people might be still wondering about and still have those questions. So off the top, we have Anthony Robbins had asked a question, and he said, can you talk about the migration of a lot of the crews that were originally from East Harlem? Capra, Ernie Boy, a couple of these guys he mentioned, and you made a comment about it, but can you maybe talk about how the people moved from the neighborhood to a neighborhood, or that kind of migration as he called it?
Well, I don't know if it's a migration or moving from a neighborhood to a neighborhood. It's just you're around certain people, certain times. You build up your reputation, your namesake, and you go from there. And then, the older guys take a liking to you. It could be multi-crews at once. And
so there's almost like a recruiting taking place too?
I wouldn't call it a recruiting. I would just call it an assessment on how people act, how they conduct themselves, younger kids coming up in the life. And then you always gravitate to one of the old-timers usually, and then you make your choice to what family you feel most comfortable with and the person that you want to be around. And then it goes from there.
That's interesting. So it's really a long process. It takes time to get to know people, trust people.
Well, I know in one of my comments recently that somebody had passed a comment, well, Dominic rose very quickly and, it was only a short time. That's correct. I did rise quickly. However, it was a lifetime effort from in my late teens, from my actions back then to current. So
people just recognize the last part or the
of
later
course,
parts.
well, you have people that are jealous and envious of,
yeah.
Somebody rising up quickly through the ranks. But it did take a lifetime. I didn't receive all the knowledge and how to conduct myself in a year or two.
No.
It took decades.
Building a career almost the same.
Basically, just like an actor.
Through college,
yes.
University, there's a rite of passage all your way up.
Exactly.
Oh, that's cool. One of the things from the episode, there's a shot, and you're in this really cool red short track sort of outfit.
You're talking about the surveillance photo?
Yeah.
Okay.
The surveillance photo. Is that the kind of outfit and gear you'd wear normally? With you see a lot of the crews, and then you look at television and the media shows a really flashy look, which, everybody loves a good suit. But day to day is, some of the questions are around, what is the day to day? You see this sort of image in media of one thing, but that can't be, an everyday thing.
Well, day-to-day depends on the individual. You have some individuals, they want to dress up in showboat every day, wearing their suits, their sports jackets, in 100-degree weather, sweating on a corner, just a profile. Yeah. I wasn't that type of guy. I would just wear a short set, tracksuit, sometimes even ripped sweats. To me, it didn't matter. I'm bouncing around the neighborhood, meeting people in the daytime. I'm not there to impress. I impress.
You got to look good, but you got to be comfortable.
No, it's not even about looking good. It's about the quality, how you conduct yourself.
Got it.
To look good, that's for Hollywood.
Got it.
So, and that particular day, we had to meet, Vinny and I had to meet Anthony Donato, and I was actually watching them watch us. At the time, I didn't know it was the feds, but I knew there was surveillance there. I mentioned it to Vinny.
You caught an eye or something?
I mentioned it to Vinny, and Vinny turned around and told me, basically, fuck them, we're not doing anything wrong. Let them film.
In their face, kind of.
Basically, when we weren't doing anything wrong, so it didn't matter to him, nor I.
That's ballsy.
So, what's ballsy about it? We weren't doing anything illegal.
I guess so.
So why,
Yeah,
ballsy
yeah.
about what?
I got you.
You know?
I got you. I got you. Yeah. Talking a little bit about appearance and that too. There's a lot of comments about you keep in good shape. So even out of that first episode, we got a lot of feedback around you keep in great shape. Is that something you always did? Were you training? And if you follow your Instagram channel, you're always talking about your workouts and things like that. Is that something you did when you were young and coming up, or?
In my younger years, I was more into sports, basketball, baseball, football as well, then boxing. Yeah, I would say weight training, became in my later years when I really got heavy into weight training on my first bid when I went away for my manslaughter conviction in the state of Florida. That's when I got involved in the weights. I put a little size on because I was only growing up about 150 pounds.
Really?
So,
Well, there's a good shot of you. Maybe we can pull it up. It's where you're at. It looks like you're in jail.
Oh, one of the
sitting at
institutions.
rack.
I was actually in Talladega, Alabama. It was probably about 1994, 95, that photo. And I was working out with one of the shot callers of the Bloods. He was out of Las Vegas. And then the guy on the bench was a guy, Mike. He wasn't with any, he had no affiliations with any gangs. He was just a guy out of Florida.
Okay. You look pretty jacked in that one.
Yeah, I was. I was young. My younger days, yes, I was.
Yeah. Okay, cool. So back to the episode. In one part of the episode, you talk about you asked permission to kill Michael, and it was granted. Can you tell us a little bit about how that took place, and even the process, inside the organization on how a call like that is made?
Well, Vinny and I were very close, and Vinny knows if I'm asking him something, it's serious. I just wouldn't come out of the blue asking to take somebody out, especially the guy who Vinny left in charge. And if I had to, I would have acted without his okay, and then explained to Vinny, because Vinny and I were similar in a lot of ways.
So you could do that.
You can't do it, but if I feel my life's in danger, it's survival of the fittest. I'm going to do what I have to do and then explain it afterwards. Vinny knows my loyalty, my respect to him and the crime family. And I'm going to do what's best for myself and the crime family, especially my life is on the line. So if I have to act, Vinny would accept it and say, Dom, you had to do what you had to do. And I know Vinny would get my back if Joe Massino then questioned it, like, what the fuck is going on out there. Vinny would have my back 1,000%. As I've always
you had
had
the
his
support,
back.
and you had a good position on it.
Well, number one, for Michael to be giving me shit, what was Michael's intentions?
Right.
So obviously he had different intentions because he was the head rooster at the time. And I was still loyal to Vinny, Joe Massino, so whatever they were telling me to do, I followed. And Michael had a problem with that because Michael wanted to know everything because Michael felt he was the boss, the acting boss at the time. And I take orders directly from Vinny and Joe Massino at that time, not Michael Mancuso.
Yep. Not his call. Another thing you talk about in the episode is the Christmas funds. And I think from a viewer's perspective, trying to understand what that really is. Back in the time, where did the Christmas funds come from? How do you get the Christmas funds? What does that look like? What is that all about?
Well, I could wrap it up real easy for you. And just the people that were around me, I had a concrete company, for instance, that was around me. And if they had problems during the year where they couldn't collect their funds, they would bring it to my attention. And everybody knows somebody, especially out of New York. So I would make sure they got their money and they would get paid, and they did. There was another time where they tried to go into Staten Island. The Gambinos stepped up and said, we can't go into Staten Island, that they have the whole Staten Island territory. And I spoke up and said, it's not happening. We're going in Staten Island. But that story is going to be for another podcast because it gets real interesting what they tried to pull. Just wouldn't tolerate it. You're not going to dictate to me what's fair is fair and what's not is not. And you're not going to tell me you have a whole Staten Island and nobody else could go there. Yeah. It's not happening.
Who made the rules?
Aside from that, with your question about the funds, so when Christmas time comes around, everybody would look to give contributions because throughout the year they know they had our protection. So, you know, that concrete company, if I recall correctly, they would kick up about $25,000 for that year. There's some people that kicked up $50,000 to $100,000.
Really? And is that like a Christmas one time, the holiday seasons, and in addition to everything over the year?
Yes, Christmas would be a one-time, just a, I want to call it a contribution to the crime family. And then what I would do, I would kick it up. And that particular Christmas, I collected about $360,000. And I actually sent the entire collection, even my money, up to Vinny and Joe Messino. Right. So I felt they're both in jail. I'm on the street. Let me give it to them, respect. Their families. So not even out of respect, just to show them everything's running properly. They're getting their money and more. And then I'll make it up during the year as collections come in, money for them. I could take out a few dollars for myself.
Okay, got it. That's interesting to think about. Back to the episode, we've got some talk around Louis Electric and the promotion process. You know, it was interesting to hear in a lot of comments about, you know, acting captain versus official captain. So when you're looking at something like that, the roles inside, you know, the families, do you go through sort of an approval promotion process? Is it similar to like you look at corporation or on a team? You know, as you get better, you may have like a standing title like acting, and then you become official. Is that common?
Well, the acting captain position was created, God forbid something happens to the official captain of the crime family, whether they get locked up, they passed away, they have an illness, or they're just not around. The acting captain takes that place, so nothing skips a beat within that regime, that group of guys. And also it's a training period. It helps for you to understand a group of guys, to control them, the process, how everything runs. But 9 times out of 10, usually somebody's an acting captain for the official captain. And then eventually they do get elevated. In Vinny's case, when he was made official captain, Vinny was never an acting captain for anybody. He was made official captain, and Joe Messino started giving him guys. That was one of the main reasons why Vinny wanted me into the life, was because he had to fill his crew with guys.
He needed the support.
And he knew he would have somebody loyal, his brother, with him. Yep. So that's why I decided to accept Vinny's invitation into the life at that time.
Okay. Thanks for that. I think it's pretty interesting. We've got, you know, a lot of comments with all the videos, a lot of views. It's really great to see. I mean, we obviously invite everybody to comment, but looking at your first episode and looking back now, do you feel differently in terms of being in front of the camera, behind the mic?
Well, I get more comfortable as time goes by. It's like with anything in life. Baseball player, every time they get up for bat, they get more and more comfortable with taking pitches and swinging at balls. So yes, I'm more comfortable. It has opened as I start going through each podcast that I go over stories. I start telling stories. A lot more things pop up in my head, come to mind. So it is opening up my mind about my past, where things that were just suppressed and I forgot about come to light. So we do have more and more content that'll be coming out. Stuff I even forgot about. And then even some of the comments. There's a lot of people in my neighborhood that remember me, how I was, and I would say, I don't think one of them had said anything bad about me cooperating, even though
it's all pretty positive.
Even though they're still in the streets, and they're just giving me positive. And even one person, it was an Anthony Costanza, commented, if I'm correctly, it was him, basically sticking up for me with the haters. And I don't mind that, you know, the haters, I accept that too, because I don't blame people for being bitter, being angry, what I did. You know, I violated my code, not their code, my code. And I take responsibility for that, and I hold no excuses. But even Anthony passed the comment that I could state for a fact, this is Anthony speaking, that what Dominic's saying is accurate. Dominic was basically a badass out there, did what he had to do, and that was it. And I appreciate that.
That's
people
good.
trying to stick up for me. But you know what? At the end of the day, I accept the good with the bad like I always had in my life. And whatever it may be, it may be. And I'm okay with myself as a man. So, you know, you could call me a rat, say I cooperate, I violated the code. Vinny's a man's man, which he is. But don't ever get it twisted. So I'm a man too. So, you know, if somebody tries to harm me and my family, they'll see the old Dominic come reappear real quick.
Right, right. Well, that episode, season 1, episode 1, Mike the Nose, Valentine's Day Massacre. Great job. Everyone should check it out. We also have it up on Spotify now too.
Okay.
So
it's good to know.
Yep. Go check out it from the beginning. Start from the beginning. Watch all the episodes.
Okay. We're basically wrapping this up then right now.
Yep.
Okay. Everybody, if you like this one, hit subscribe. And Jason, I have to ask you a question. Where the fuck did you get that haircut? That came from Carrie. Carrie, I'm sorry I give you up, but where'd you get the haircut?
Hey, man, it's my look.
Ray Charles? I love it. I'm just joking, guys. Everybody, hit that subscribe button. Again, egvodka.com, our sponsor. Champagne de Rock will be in a lot of nightclubs coming soon. There's 4 different flavors. You'll love them. Boat liquors. So with that, everybody have a good evening, good morning, good afternoon. Wish everybody the best. Hope you enjoy it. Peace out.